So we are recording this after finishing Chapter 11. Spoilers, we did not softlock on Chapter 11. I know you were very concerned. Um, but we can't, because Chapter 11 doesn't let you do, like, a view units thing, we can't do it, like, on map. So I figure, we'll just do Gregory and Madeline right here, and I'll just, through the power of editing magic, put them in the front. So these are probably the two most interesting units in terms of the DLC, which is weird because they're just in the same classes that like exist in vanilla, but I find them kind of fascinating.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, so Gregory is basically just what if Citrine had very, very bad decks, because he's high magic. Actually, would you do me a favor? Can you pull up the bot and check, does he have a higher magic growth than her, or is it just that his base is better? So yeah, it's because he has a higher magic growth than her, sure, which is, she's already incredible because of her super high magic growth, right? And then Gregory's just like, well, let's take that to 1,000. But he ends up, honestly, being worse, at least in my opinion, because of the dexterity. Discounting the fact that availability on these units is weird because when you recruit them is just gonna depend on when you play the Felsina log. He's, like, better in terms of, well, he shows up, like, if you get him instead of Citrine at base, obviously he's nuking things more, right? But I think that as a long-term unit, like, if we're promoting Citrine to Sage, forgetting the fact that, like, Mage Knight is an option for her and only takes a Master Seal, whereas he would take a second seal, which is a little bit more competitive. His dex is just so bad that I find, even with Tomes, which are, like, one of the more accurate weapon types, he has pretty significant hit issues. I mean, forget, like, yeah, Mystical doesn't have to deal with terrain bonuses from people. Just the enemies not being on terrain are gonna have a void against him, which, if your only job is being a glass cannon, is really an awkward place to be.
Yeah.
The reason I wanted to pair him and Madeline is they're in the same space, but she's just the physical equivalent, because she has a higher strength growth than Amber, Rosado, and Panette, who were previously tied for the highest. She's got, like, 10% more than them.
5%, I think.
Oh, only 5%.
Yeah, still, like, the both of them are, like, just extremely min-maxed units where, like, their respective offensive and defensive stat is really high, and they're really slow. Well, Gregory's not, like, atrociously slow. His growth's pretty bad, but the base is okay.
Yeah, 13 speed. I mean, compare it to Citrine, who's often thought of as a slow unit. Before being weighed down, she has 2 less than him. And that's growth's a 10-1, really bad, whereas he's 21.
Yeah.
So he's slower than her? I think he's slower than her, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. He's got, like, he's got humongous magic and res. And, like, he does have a bulk lead over her, but like, it's not enough to make him, like, bulky. It's just, like, there's a few more enemies he can, like, live a hit from.
Yeah, but most of them are doubling him anyway. So, like, can he live 2 hits? Yeah. Because I think that's the more important threshold for him.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird.
Madeline is, like, the more extreme, because her dex, she has, like, the dex issue, and then she specializes in axes. Which, with a compact axe, she has 133 hit. It's funny because, like, everyone immediately was like, oh, well, Celestia, Greg, Nell, and Rafal are good, but Madeline is awful, right? And I looked at the units, like, just sort of looking at their stats, and I was like, well, Madeline has a higher strength growth than Panette. You can theoretically just, like, yeah, obviously Armor Knight bad, but just second seal her, make her a warrior. And then I was like, okay, actually her dexterity is awful. You can't do vantage stuff on her because you need to reach 100 hit, and that's just not happening. I think her and Gregory, I think Gregory is a little bit better than her, but I think they face enough of the same issues that I find them to be, I would say they're around the same level. It's just like magic is better than physical stuff. But like I wouldn't put them too, I wouldn't, like if I was making a tier list, I guess I wouldn't put him too far away from her. They can hang out together on the bench. I guess in theory, magical units are more likely to be able to attack without counter, so you get the Alcris versus Tamara thing of, well, if Alcris doesn't proc Luna, he doesn't die, but if Tamara doesn't proc Sandstorm, she does. And in the same way, you know, if Madeline doesn't hit the enemy, she takes damage in return, but Gregory doesn't always. But Madeline does have beefy defense, and
yeah,
like I've been saying, the defense stat isn't super important. I think you could functionally just have 0 defense on everyone and do stuff, but she can bait, maybe, like, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you can have. Yeah, I mean, how likely is she going to run into the Louis issue of like having so much defense that the enemies don't want to bother attacking her?
Enemies were dealing 1 damage to Jade last chapter, and Jade has 20 less defense than her. I think on Maddening you don't run into that issue though. I think late game Maddening enemies do still deal damage to you. Plus, you can AI manipulate, because if an enemy can go for a chain attack, they will always go for a chain attack. So you can, you know, put her in such a position that people will attack her because a sword fighter deals like 4 damage or whatever with chain attacks. But yeah, the hit though, the fucking hit. I gave her hit plus 15. Right! That 133 is accounting for hit plus 15. I think. I might be wrong.
I mean, you can hover over the...
It is, yeah. Wow! That's with a compact axe. Like, obviously, yes, you can just reclass her to, like, you know, a sword class. But what good sword class would she go into, even? Like, sword wyvern? I guess she can go wyvern.
Griffin?
Griffin, yeah. Griffin or wyvern. Because she has axes, so she can immediately go, like, if you just give her swords with, like, Lucina, Marth, whatever point you were at the game.
Literally anybody.
Honestly, Great Knight, not terrible, too. Great Knight has the same strength as Wyvern. And, like, it's not like she cares about her speed at this point.
Yeah.
But at least Gregory is in, like, a class that's good for him to start out. I think Madeline as an Armor Knight is a little bit, not great. Not great. Yeah, not great.
As opposed to a great nut knight.
Well, I wouldn't send her Great Knight because she... Well, I guess it depends on the point in the game. At this point, assuming... Because we're getting her after Chapter 11, I wouldn't send her Great Knight because the main advantage Great Knight has over Wyvern is... It's got very similar stats, but it uses Cavalier bonuses. So Sigurd in particular... like, that's the logic behind why I sent Amber Great Knight instead of sending him Wyvern, is I wanted to glue Sigurd to him, right? And then, like, later Camilla. I guess, technically, Great Knight gets Camilla bonuses, so that's some, I guess? I don't know. Madeline and Gregory are pretty bad, though, and for pretty similar reasons. But, like, Gregory's pretty because his abs, and Madeline is very fucking funny, because I just go, Bluey!
Yeah, all I know is that line.
It's so Bluey. That's not even a Madeline line. That's a Marnie line, because Marnie calls Madeline Bluey because she's the blue version of Marnie. Their personal skills, I hovered over them earlier, but they're both ass. They're both ass.
Yeah.
This one's a meme. This one, maybe I can come up with a strategy that uses them. Like, you know, 2 less damage is nice.
I think Gregory's could be great on a very differently designed unit.
Yeah.
Like, this guy should not be trying to dodge tank.
Honestly, this might be good on, like... Okay, hold up. Let me cook. And this is immediately fucked over by the fact that DLC units get almost no supports. But if it was on a unit who had a good support pool, you could reclass to Martial Master and use them as the center of the Martial Master. Because if you have a high avoid unit, the enemies will prefer to attack the ones on the outside because they don't see Bondage Shield, but they do see the avoid.
No, it's if there are more foes than allies within 3 spaces.
Oh! I thought it was more allies than... Oh, fuck. Okay, it's washed. It's washed, it's washed, it's washed. Yunaka, I guess. Yunaka Fog on hard mode.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yunaka here!
Hi!
Hi, this is Danny Doyle, and we lost a bunch of rings, but we still have 7, so it's fine.
Yeah, it's not really a big deal. I don't know how Danny fucked up so bad that we lost, like, half of our rings, but, like, we'll manage.
I just got distracted because I was telling you how much I value you as a friend, and how you're cool and awesome, and how you're cool, and how you're awesome.
And how cool and awesome.
Stabs anymore, though, which is a little bit cringe.
That's unfortunate. Oh, yeah, because I was about to ask, who did you give Micaiah to? You gave her to Sombra.
Micaiah to Sombra. Oh, no, I gave Micaiah to Vale, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, all of our rings have been stolen by evil Fajita girl.
I gave Micaiah to the random corrupted. I can show you on the map.
My favorite character, random corrupted with Micaiah ring.
This guy is a pain in the ass. This guy's a pain in the fucking ass. He just like freezes you a ton. Also, hi Vale. I really like how Vale looks with the Alear hair. The funny thing is, I think both Defect Alear and Alear Vale look really cool, and I like them a lot. In my Sabotage run, I just did Alear Vales because I could be like, oh, they're sisters. But I also really like Defect Alear. But I was thinking, Robin.
Yeah.
I think it's really like we have these stabs in Alear's inventory. Why don't we just change Alear to a staff class?
Royal Knight? I'm thinking Royal Knight.
Yeah, I think Royal Knight 2. Royal Knight 2. Griffin on that thing.
If you squint, it's a hawk.
So I'm fairly certain the meal that we cooked and the exercise and stuff does not carry over.
Yeah, it doesn't.
So...
Oh, wait. No.
That's not... Yeah, that's just from... Oh, activity. Wait.
Yeah.
Oh, it does. I think it works differently in Fates. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of?
Yeah, it does work differently in Fates. I know that for certain.
Okay. Because I was going to say I have to delete them from the layout now, but I don't actually. They're still here. So here's the funny thing about this, right? I'm going to show off, like, what is the typical, like, why people like Griffin Knight Alear strategy.
Here goes.
Because then you can do this, right? You go, oh, I'll be awesome, and I'll do this. Oh, wait. Oh, I gave her holdout. I'm stupid. Of course it still works. I gave her holdout because I forgot.
For gore?
I forgot that I was smart, actually. But... yeah, she missed. It doesn't matter that she missed, though. Like, that's... The point is just to be able to do that.
Very well.
Very well. Oh, I should probably, like, go over what rings everyone's got, right? Or does that not matter?
Yes.
I think the big one is we put Deirdre on these two, but everyone else... Like, well, Alchrist Alchrist has... Who does Alchrist even have?
I don't even fucking remember.
Oh, I can't
Somebody
even
that gives-
see. Oh, right. I gave him because it's a dex strength one. Oh, who is it? Who is that fucker? Because it was for Luna. Because we were joking, like, oh, we can give him Crom for fucking Rifle King. Wouldn't that be funny?
That would be pretty silly.
We'd be kind of silly pilled, I think. We're shy. Okay, I think we screwed up. I think we screwed up, and we don't have the turn crystal, so we just have to do this. Because I think we need the Alear Inspiration. Because I want to bolting that archer so that Alear can be safe. Oh, we can actually check the emblem rings now. Oh, it's Chris! From Fire Emblem, New Mystery of the Emblem. You see, I forgot
Heroes
his
of Light
name.
and Shadow.
I forgot his name because I normally just refer to him as Marth, because that's what I named him. Continuing the bit, I guess.
I'll protect you.
Let's actually not risk, like, crit lunaing. So, the sooner that we, sooner we get Alear in the zone, there's like a zone, Ivy, Kagetsu, and Zelkov show up. Thank you, I forgot about Zelkov's existence. So you have 6 move, right? Or 5 move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Alear goes here. Wait, I screwed up again.
What'd you do?
If if I swap Citrine with Alcros, we can get the extra point of move anyway. But that's okay that I screwed up, because I also remembered I screwed up a different way. Oh, we can't do it! I was gonna say we didn't do the unit review of Dipshit and Donkus, Bluey and Greg. But
it's fine.
We can't. We'll do it at the start of the next map or the end of this map. I don't know. It doesn't matter. What does matter is I screwed up because I hit the start button, and that was a screw up.
Here goes.
I think the biggest screw up was installing Engage.
Oh, because Engage fails where Fire Emblem Three Houses succeeds?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that on YouTube, actually.
Oh, I remember this.
Oh, what is you? Oh, you're Warp Ragnaroking. Wait, this might be a little bit washed. Because you have a really big Warp Ragnarok range, right? Right.
Allow me.
Just heal her up so we can hold out again.
But I don't have Physic.
Who is...
Because our only staffer that can reach... Oh, if we put... Can John... 1, 2, 3...
Yes.
No, John wouldn't be able to reach either. Because, the forest's in the way. The curse of the forest. Because if we bolting you... Oh! We could, Vulnerary.
Never heard of it. Oh, that's...
We missed. I'm leaving all these resets in. This is just the experience. We missed like a 97 too, right?
I think that was like a 77.
Yeah, basically a 97. Okay, I think...
Did you know 97 accuracy isn't good enough? It needs to be 100.
Who has Veronica? I think we actually swap... Give Vander Veronica.
Staff bot.
Lady Veronica.
Well, and then we give Saline Crom.
Crom!
We go together.
And then you go here. Okay, I've got a new plan. So, and this is how we can get, this is how we can heal Alear, or, like, protect Alear.
Alright.
Right? Okay, so, we go here, we Combat Arts, we Raging Storm. Does this have L cancel? Oh, this game doesn't have L cancel? Damn, so washed.
It's not melee.
Yo! Fucking hell. Okay, Alear. So Alear goes here.
Very well.
Then you go here. You bolting. See, it says 79. That's 97 backwards.
Please forgive me.
Please forgive me.
So then you go here, and then... So you have this... Okay, so then what we do... Contract... Assign decoy, and now the Warp Ragnarok guy is legally required to hit Vander.
Understood.
Awesome.
So then we compact axe you. I remember when I first played, I thought I would get the rings back by killing these guys, and then this scene happened, and it was the most baller fucking thing, but also bullshit. I was like, wow, you bitch.
Your steward's ready.
I don't remember if I had been spoiled on the rings being taken away at this point or not. I think I was.
Yes.
I played this prior to release. So, like, just review, you know?
Oh, you got a review copy?
Yeah. Definitely.
Oh, nice.
Definitely, yeah.
Let's hear it.
Yeah.
So,
I'll never yield.
because of that, I was able to, like, avoid the spoilers, which was cool. Although it also, I remember I posted in a Discord, like, a few days after the game came out, a screenshot of Marin as the MVP. And I said, TFW, you play engage. Because Marin was just, like, my best unit. Because I liked her and I fed her a bunch of experience or whatever, right? And then a bunch of people replied to me, like, you fucking idiot. Why aren't you using Kagetsu instead? And I was like, at the time, I was like, oh, maybe I'm, like, misevaluating these units. But now that the meta's solidified, I'm like... Yeah, Kagetsu's better than Marin, but are you really, like, saying that Marin is bad?
Had no choice but to win.
Because she's not Kagetsu? Also, even if Marin was awful, right? Like, just that level, that response is so unnecessary.
I mean, I think it's pretty damn reasonable, like, I don't know, even if, like, even outside of a you know, just use whatever silly goobers you want, but, like, even if you're not playing like that and you're actually trying to use the best units, I think a team would reasonably have both Kagetsu and Marin on it.
Yeah, that's why I say, like, it's extra silly, because even if you're the sort of person who thinks, like, it's okay for me to get mad at people if they use suboptimal units.
Yeah, it's just... You're not using a suboptimal unit. You're using one of the best units in the game. Like one of the big cheeses.
One of the big hadunkins.
A donkey donkeys.
The honky tonk badonkadonk.
You put up a good fight.
So I think Celine dies here because she's frozen. Right?
Do we... Maybe? It's just this one guy that... Is it just this...
you who reaches?
Can the Corrupted Worms reach?
No.
Yeah, she's fine.
She doesn't die to Sigurd? Sigurd guy? You don't think she
Yeah, I
dies
guess
to
the prayer
Sigurd guy?
plates.
27
Actually, yeah, the prayer plate.
versus 13, that's 14.
Yeah, that does kill her, actually. But, well, 21.
21
That's not
minus
kill her.
13. Okay, so she is fine? Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say we could potentially rewind. Oh no, we can't rewind. I was gonna say we could potentially Revival Stone, we could potentially Chain Guard. How does he reach? Oh, he goes like all the way around. Oh, can we actually...
Assign a decoy? Yeah.
No, I was thinking just kill him. 22 contract. How much is that? 1, 2, 3,
that's-
4.
That is relying on hitting 275s.
Yeah, so I think what we do is we assign decoy. I think you're right. We assign decoy Diamante. And then all y'all like go forward.
Yes.
I like the support being built for assigning Diamant as a decoy.
It is time to honor
In fairness, Diamant would actually build support off of that. He'd be, you know, he's like the noble fighter nation guy. Also, that was, what, a 3-star? Myrmidon?
Yeah.
Damn. Sucky ducky.
We should give Veronica back to Jean. He knows what he's doing.
He got 4 stars and 5 stars. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, meditation pog.
If only she could warp Ragnarok out of the situation.
So, this will spawn Ivy, right?
I don't know.
I think this is far enough down. Yo, she has a killing edge though. Maybe Vander knew what he was cooking. This is a Rutger archetype.
That's a Worm Slayer.
Yeah, Rutger also uses the Worm Slayer.
I mean, he can.
I mean, he does because Wyverns and Manikeets.
The corrupted alone.
Oh yeah, so here comes the Hounds. And the Hounds means Ivy. Like they show up at the same time.
I mean, normally the Hounds show up before Ivy.
No, but like they show up and then Ivy shows up.
We won't.
I'm pretty sure Ivy's here, right? Because Alir's like, oh no! Okay, Vander crashed the game. Vander fucking froze things.
He seems to be doing that a lot.
I know, right?
Welcome to the party.
In between this video and the last one we recorded, I have actually, well, so not chapter 10, chapter 9. I actually upgraded my computer, like my processor, graphics card, and everything, in the hopes that that would, like, potentially fix whatever the problems Engage has been having is. By which I mean I upgraded my Switch. I forgot that her eyes do that in this. That's actually cool. I actually really like that.
Marth?
I was assuming. Actually, I didn't even see what you were talking about.
They start with the brand, and then she blinks, and the brand is no longer visible. And it's because
nice.
Lucina's brand you can only see if you invest her eyes really, really closely, like in Awakening.
Yeah.
So I thought that was it's so cute. This game is full of cute little references like that. Such as a really cute reference to the fact that most Fire Emblems give you a fucking busted flyer halfway through on a Wyvern, and this game did that too. Do you want to talk about Ivy?
Yeah. So I'm not the biggest Ivy knower, but like, so like on my first playthrough, right? I tried to use her. I was like, okay, she seems pretty solid. I'm going to give her a whirl. I remember I made a fucky wucky in chapter 14 and she got doubled and killed. So I didn't really get to use her for very long. Then in my second playthrough on banding mode, I had already heard like Ivy's really fucking good. She's a great investment target.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of immediately, and so I did try to give her some of that investment, and I was just kind of immediately blown out of the water by how effective she was.
Mm-hmm.
She's got some speed and accuracy issues, which are like some of the easiest fucking things to fix in this game, but your payoff for doing that is a big, somewhat bulky magical unit that fucking flies and is a staffer. Like, it's just kind of, and like the only other unit that does that in the base game is her sister Hortensia, and Hortensia is not a combat unit.
No sirree, Bob.
No, Ivy is just really fucking good at combat if you're willing to invest into her. Just has a really big payoff.
I also think, you mentioned, like, and she's a staffer. A lot of people focus on, because she's the combat-oriented of the two sisters, she still gets B-rank stabs, so on turns where she's not doing the combat, B-rank stabs gets warp and, rescue. And basically every staff you care about, is Freeze B also? I think Freeze might also be B. We can...
Freeze is definitely, like, she can definitely use Freeze at base.
And she
Like,
won't gain any
I'll
off of
look it up to be
promotion,
sure,
but that's still, like...
No, Freeze is C.
Freeze is C, damn. So yeah, she can use every staff you care about, only missing out on, like, the S rank you get from donating to Illusia, and Fortify, I think? Maybe in Trap. Yeah. Oh, in Trap, probably. But there's, like, five instances in the game you might want in Trap, and, like, Hortensia is around for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, Big Booby Dragon Goth Lady, but she's also really good as a unit. I do like her mixed bulk. I've said for a number of units that, like, the defense and, by extension, resistance stats kind of don't matter in the second half of the game. If you, like, use all the broken tools, like Bondage Shield, Vantage, those sorts of things. To an extent, they matter in the mid-game for the units who join in the mid-game, though, because you can't get Vantage on Ivy, right, until very much later and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Bondage Shield, sure, you can do Bondage Shield stuff, but I do think her bulk is useful even when you're using those broken tools. Or if you're, like, not using them, you know, for a more casual playthrough. I think she's one of the more easy sort of plug-and-play. You mentioned her speed and accuracy issues. I actually have much more of an issue with this, her 4 luck, because it does get in the way of trying to, like, just bulk through stats.
I'll be honest, I sincerely forgot about that.
So most units in Engage face low percentage crits. She can pretty reasonably face, like, 20% on the regular, because that luck is awful.
It's really bad.
If you don't give her a speed fixing emblem, like if someone else wants Lyn, I think she's a very big beneficiary of any of the luck boosting ones. I know Byleth is a big luck booster, and for that reason, some people recommend reclassing her to Sage, so you can use Byleth like the Lysithea staff or whatever. I don't love that, because I think the big appeal of her is she's a mage with flying. Like, if you want someone who's just a mage, you get Pandreo next map, and the unique aspect of Ivy is she gets Pandreo-esque combat, but while flying. So I don't love reclassing her. Does Celica give luck? Because Celica has a flying bonus that I think is actually pretty interesting. It adds extra range to Warp Ragnarok.
She does not give luck.
So she doesn't give luck, but if you're doing, like, player phase blitz stuff, if you're, like, warp skipping levels, Celica gives 15 tiles instead of 10 to Warp Ragnarok on a flyer, and Ivy is basically the only magical flyer combat unit in the main game. But even if you're, like, using her and Celestia, putting Celica on one of them is generally a good idea for, well, just the very end of the game, because you get Celica back so late. But the end of the game is also the most warp skippable. Like, I don't want to fucking play those maps. I like the other maps. I don't like the late game maps, so I'll skip the late game maps, thank you very much. Yeah, I just think Ivy's really good. Not much more to say. Do you have more to say, or... Oh, actually, her speed is more fixable than you might initially think. Because, like, her speed is an issue, which is why she comes with Lyn to sort of signal, like, hey, Lyn is a good emblem for this unit. But Lyn is a very competitive emblem.
Yeah.
Just giving, like, speed plus to Ivy and making sure to maybe forge her a minus weight tome or just use lighter tomes. Because she only has 7 build, so she can lose speed from some of the heavier tomes. She can double without Lyn relatively easily. More easily than Citrine, and Citrine's speed is fixable without Lyn. It does take investment, though. Like, it is, that you know, it is worth noting that that is an investment thing.
Yeah, but it's not an unreasonable investment at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that hard, and the payoff is so huge.
The hit issues kind of fix themselves during, like, boss killing scenarios, which makes her a pretty good unit to dance for, either with Byleth or with Seedal, because she gets plus 20 hit if she's attacking the same person multiple times. It doesn't stack, so you can't, like, dance, and get plus 60 or something, but 20 is a huge number. And especially if you are doing that, like, yeah, like, I guess another use for Celica is the plus 20 hit affects Echo. Because you get twice.
Actually, that's a good point. Yeah.
Which can be potentially big, especially if you only need one Echo to hit. Like, it really increases your odds or stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we're blowing anyone's minds by saying Ivy is good, though.
Yeah.
So should we talk about a unit that most people think is pretty bad? Stupid Poo-Poo Head?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, he's a foot-locked, sword-locked unit. I don't know why you would want to use this.
And his stats are really awful, too. Like, 17 strength?
Yeah.
Compare
like, Swordmaster
to...
doesn't even have a crit bonus in this game.
Our Jade has 18 strength. Well, our Jade has 17 at base. Like... Well, I guess technically no, but
if you ignore the activity and pretend it's part of her base strength, she has 17 strength at base.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that makes sense, right? Like, I was gonna show that, like, his strength is comparable to some units who join earlier, and then the big reveal is like, no, actually, Swordmaster has, like, no strength, and these are units in good strength stats. But I couldn't even make that joke, because his strength is just better than people who are in better strength classes than him.
Yeah. Kagetsu is just... He's pretty straightforward. He's just a giant ball of stats, starting in a bad class. So you reclass him to a class with good stats, like Wyvern, and he goes crazy.
Kagetsu is my personal, like, biggest point of evidence towards the conspiracy theory I have about Fire Emblem Engage being sort of rushed out with some features, like, not being fully implemented, added, or tested. I think there was a version of this game that either had no reclassing or had reclassing in a similar vein to Fates and Awakening, where it's a much heavier investment, like, to spend a second seal to change someone, whereas here they're a lot more plentiful. And you're much more limited in what you can access, right? And so maybe Kagetsu either was always a Swordmaster because there's no reclassing, or, hey, there's a reclass in it, and he can be, like, a sniper, a swordmaster, or a thief, right? All classes with relatively low strength. And so they have this mid-game swordmaster, they tune his stats, and then they take a look at him and they're like, oh damn, this guy looks really fucking mediocre. Let's pump those stats up quite a bit. And that's what Team A is doing, and then Team B is like, okay, we're adding reclassing and making it so everyone can be everything. And Team A and Team B just, like, didn't exchange notes, and then that's how you get Kagetsu. Because he does feel similar to, like, there's other units like him in either no reclass or limited reclass emblems. Stefan is the biggest one that comes to mind, where it's like, oh, your stats are really, really good, but you're in a bad class to compensate for that, right? And he ends up being sort of middle of the road. But Sairi is another one that, like, that can kind of fit into that. I don't think her stats are, like, very, very good, but I do think her being a late joiner that starts in Swordmaster which is not the greatest class, and more like the more damning thing is that her reclass options all make her lose weapon rank. Or Shura, because Corrin Sexual can't really do the customization, starts out in Outlaw and either has to like reclass to one of his other classes and build ranks, or stay in a suboptimal class for him. But yeah, Kagetsu just gets to say, no, I'm actually a Wyvern, or a Warrior, or a Great Knight, or any number of other things, because he can make so many things work.
Yeah, genuinely, his only real flaw, quote unquote, is his magic isn't good, but like, he doesn't need that. He's good at everything else.
Within a no DLC setting, it can be a little bit awkward to reclass him, because right now your only non-DLC weapons are swords and bows, and he only starts with swords. So the options he has are limited, since you need either lances or axes for a lot of classes. Not magical ones. But you get Ike in two maps, right?
Yeah, I was about to say, like, I don't even think I agree with you on that point, because you get Ike fairly soon. Like, he's not going to be at his top performance for these next couple of maps, but, like, that you just get Ike after Chapter 13, and then he's off to the races.
Well, but what I mean is either you leave him in Swordmaster for 2 maps and potentially some paralogs, because you do get the Lyn and Lucina paralogs as well, or you reclass him and then you reclass him again.
Yep.
And, like, if you leave him in Swordmaster, his combat's worse, and he also, like, gains experience in Swordmaster, so he levels up in Swordmaster, which is lame. And if you reclass him, it's, like, a little bit more... Like, spending 2 seals is... Spending a seal to send Kagetsu, like, Bow Knight or Paladin always feels bad for me, because I'm like, well, I'm getting you out of here soon, too. Maybe that's just a me problem. Like, maybe I'm just upset at spending the seal.
Honestly, I mean, I feel like he's still, like, okay enough in Swordmaster to where I don't mind leaving him in it for those couple of maps until you get Ike.
Really?
I think he just does fine enough.
I mean, yeah, I guess. I don't like using him as a Swordmaster, but I can see it.
Yeah, it's like... Yeah, like... You're stuck with an okay Swordmaster for 2 maps, and then I get to fucking have a top-tier combat unit for the rest of the game. Like, I think that's pretty worthwhile.
So, do you see his eyebrow?
Yeah.
0 out of 10 game. And also 0 out of 10 unit.
That's just a common thing in, like, Japanese media, is to, like, draw the eyes and the eyebrows over the hair. That's not a glitch.
Well, I've been epically owned. let's talk about Zelkov. Are his eyes and eyebrows also above the ear? The hair? No, his are underneath it. Okay, so he's glitched then.
Maybe, okay, so maybe Kagetsu is actually an error, huh?
No, I think Zelkov's glitched. They accidentally put his eyes and eyebrows under the hair.
How curious.
I like how Zelkov has a key around his neck as a clever reference to the fact that only he can open chests.
True, and nobody else.
Yeah. Oh, right. Okay, before we Zelkov, actually, one last thing is Binding Flash is a fucking worthless personal skill, so bad unit.
Yeah. I feel like +10, it's effectively +10 hit on player phase is not that bad.
Oh, I misread that. I thought he gets +10 avoid. Damn, okay, no, I've been epically owned. Zelkov's pretty cool, though. I feel like at the beginning of Engage, sort of like first being out, opinions on Zelkov and also Yunaka were very, like, divided. With some people saying, like, one is trash, the other is great. Some people saying, you know, one is good. Like, you know, some people said Zelkov's the best, Yunaka sucks, and some people said Yunaka's the best, Zelkov sucks. Some people said they both suck, and some people said you should use them both because they're, like, thieves are great because they see through Fog of War and they dodge everything. And And then it sort of evolved into like, oh, well, Zelkov actually has amazing stats, but Thief is such a bad class that he wants to reclass just like Kagetsu, but he can't because he needs 4 levels, which is like a huge investment. Because the experience is so low in this.
Mm-hmm.
And then it evolved to, actually, you want to leave him in Thief, because then he can use Thief Byleth for the Dex, or the Speed Dance, and he can use Thief Lin for the extra Astro Storm range, and he's like the only covert unit with decent strength in Thief. And that's where I'm at now, I sort of feel on that page. But I have not been tuned into discussions of the engage meta, so it's possible that like people have moved beyond that and they're like, actually, Zelkov's magic is really good, and you send him Martial Master now because he makes use of his good strength and his good magic to make use of the arts. So maybe that's
Strength
like
is
I just haven't been in touch with the meta. Have you been in touch with the Zelkov discussion?
Nope. He's I mean, honestly, this is immediately going to feel like an unfair comparison, but like just comparing base stats, like personal stats, like he's literally worse than Kagetsu in every area, which is funny.
Welcome to every
It's
unit
also-
in the cast.
Yeah, that's a pretty unfair comparison, I had, honestly. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, his stats aren't like atrocious. They're okay. Pretty decent. Yeah, I don't really know. I definitely think he's overall better than Yunaka.
Yeah, because he gets extra void for
Like-
the Core and Fog build.
Yes, like, that's the sole reason, literally nothing else. Like joining 11 levels higher than her. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, 4 levels is a bit of an investment to get him out of Thief, but I don't think it's really the end of the world if you want to use him.
Mm-hmm. Well, you can leave him in Thief if you want to use, like, covert stuff, too.
Covert, but yeah. I feel like outside of, like, reclassing somebody else to Sniper, I feel like this is kind of like what you would do if you wanted to use a covert unit, just
Or
use
Alchemist.
Zelkov. Yeah. Well, yeah.
I guess technically, like, Alchrist. He doesn't have
It's
good
basically
strength, but a lot
Sniper.
of people like the Luna Astro Storm stuff, even though I
Mhm.
don't.
Silly.
So, it's funny you mentioned, like, the comparison to Yunaka, because I do think the Zelkov versus Yunaka stuff was a little bit silly in terms of...
Yeah.
Especially if you're just like, is Yunaka hitting 17 by now? Probably not. But also... I don't know. The class-by-class comparisons, the Alchrist Etier one is, like, the biggest one. But people really gravitate on, like, people in the same class, despite the fact that this is a very reclassable emblem, right?
Mhm.
So I find it kind of silly. It did lead to a very funny... I was watching someone's first Engage playthrough, and they got to this map, and they had been training Lapis and Yunaka, and then these two show up, and they go, well, we need someone to bait the Free Staff, and immediately sent Yunaka and Lapis up north. Your replacements have arrived.
God.
So that's kind of funny.
Yeah. Yeah. This is also kind of like the starting point of the game just throwing a middle finger to your training projects.
Yeah,
Well,
very
it kinda
FE7
does-
coded.
I mean, it like a lot of the design does that, but also just here's a bunch of units with big stats. Have fun.
Hope you weren't training a thief. Hope you weren't training a swordmaster. Hope you weren't training a mage or another mage or a bow user. Hope you don't like Bunet, because he's the exception to the rule, which is why he's the best. So the whole time we were doing unit review, I was super nervous because I was like, "There's someone down there with low HP. It's Wormslayer, lady." But she's
Can we
got a
have her skip the
ponytail, so
map
she's
instead of
Medi.
Lear?
She's pretty because she has the Worm Slayer and a ponytail.
Sword lesbians have evolved into Worm Slayer lesbians.
How will this affect the OU meta?
I don't know.
Okay,
Only
so
time will tell.
if we do this, we're out of range of the dragon, like down here. Oh, you fucking stinky.
That's a little rude, Danny.
Well, maybe she shouldn't have been stinky.
Are you stinky phobic?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Okay, if we Eternal Claw you, and then we can canter.
Remember this.
I'm glad Diamond gets to hang out with his best friend Tiki. I'm glad she wasn't taken away from him.
Yeah, that was pretty rude. It was pretty rude of Vale to take all our friends away.
Except Tiki.
Tiki's not our friend. Only Diamante's friend.
I like Tiki.
Yeah, but she's not our friend. Not everyone you like is your friend, Robin. It's pretty parasocial of you to say that about Tiki, TBH. I think it might be unhealthy.
Tiki's like my best friend, though. You don't really, Danny, you're making a lot of assumptions about my relationship with Tiki, honestly, and it's a little rude. Like, we've been
Robin?
good friends for a long time.
Robin, are you saying you're an ass?
I'm not saying that at all. I don't understand how you came to that conclusion.
Because if I make an assumption, I make an ass out of you and me. So do you think you're an ass?
I mean, I have one. Allegedly.
That wasn't the question.
I won't forget this.
I'm not an ass, no.
Well, then I can't have been making assumptions. Because I didn't make you an ass. It's honestly quite
Really,
simple.
it's really interesting that you think that, Danny.
Yeah, I am pretty interesting. I'm glad you agree.
Time to play.
Time to play a game called Are You Interesting?
Time
The
to play a
answer
game.
may
Are you
surprise you.
smarter than a 5th grader?
The answer will not surprise you. I'm not. I took that test.
You took the "Are you smarter than a 5th grader" text? The test.
Yeah.
I will not dig this grave.
This grave.
So these two have just, it's so funny the impression that they give, because like they just have such a good first impression. Should we Wudao? That would be funny if we Wudowed. But I think
Danny, it's a Wodell.
I think what we do is this.
Oh yeah, Edelgard got fucking yeeted off the map, replaced
Yeah.
with Lucina.
She got sent to the discourse zone.
She got replaced with a better character.
I hear you.
She got replaced with Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yeah, like I said, a better character.
Yeah. 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 Oh, I kind of want to... Someday I want to play Shadow the Hedgehog on the channel. I think that would be...
Oh
pretty
my god,
fun
I
and
don't
epic.
think. So I've told this story to a decent number of people, but I don't think I've told it to you.
That was rude of you.
I'm fixing my mistake now. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Redemption arc.
Yeah. So
Dodge tank!
I played.
The Worm Slayer
played
Ponytail Girl lives!
I played Shadow the Hedgehog as a youngin, and I was well aware of the content in the game going into it. And for the few people who don't know, I mean, they tried to be really edgy and mature by making Shadow the Hedgehog say "damn" every 5 seconds.
That was a spoiler! You spoilered me! I didn't know! Then he said
Yes.
damn every 5 seconds.
Anyways, so I knew that,
I didn't.
but I really wanted to play the game, and I was just like, for a few days while I was playing the game, I was just like utterly mortified of my parents coming in and hearing Shadow the Hedgehog say "damn," that I would just pause the game whenever they got close to the room I was playing in.
Oh,
And there's
that's
a
funny.
No. And then it was eventually came a point where the fucking guilt got to me, and I eventually broke down crying to my mom and confessed that Shadow the Hedgehog said "damn" in that video game they bought me. She had to fucking like comfort me over it.
That's actually pretty peak.
It was
That's actually pretty peak.
I don't really remember the game. I remember hearing something that they wanted to go all in and have Shadow say the fuck word, but they didn't want to like. I don't remember why they didn't go all in with it. I think it was something like they didn't want to crank up the age rating too much.
Cowards.
I know. I
So,
feel like-
unfortunately, Alir is
Yeah.
literally 1 tile short. So, we'll
It
just have to
sucks.
see his next turn. But this map is basically done.
Yeah, we got it. If only Shadow the Hedgehog were here. He's bruised.
Funny, I didn't say that. I didn't like want to interrupt you, so I didn't say this
Mhm.
earlier. But funny thing that happened was I'm so used to playing Fates. I saw like, oh, low HP unit is attacking a Swordmaster. Kagetsu's just gonna kill him with advantage.
Yeah. You die now.
Look at Jade. Look how fucking epic she is.
She is awesome. Hey, speaking of low HP Swordmasters killing with advantage, do you think Kagetsu looks up to Ryoma as a role model and also hates poor people?
This is just like Hoshido, except for there's poor people here.
I see some poverty, but this could be Hoshido. Who wrote this script?
Me, actually. Did you like it?
No, I didn't.
Damn. Why are you mean to me?
You had one of the main characters talk about how he hates poor people.
No, he doesn't hate them. He just thought that they not exist.
Inhumation. Such ephemeral life.
So, Danny, if you wrote the script for Fates, what was the reasoning behind having it so nobody could recognize Azura in the Conquest theater scene?
Well, you
Despite
see,
her
there's
very
actually-
obviously being Azura.
There's actually a very good reason for that, but unfortunately, Leaf escaped, so everyone else will. Bye!
Oh no, Danny!